I'm going to be making a quick and quite easy spaghetti sauce. In order to make this sauce, you need a little container of ground beef. I have the very low-fat ground beef, since that's supposed to be the healthiest. I might want to use a little pinch of sugar, so I have the sugar handy, salt and pepper, a package of macaroni noodles, fresh garlic. You can actually use garlic salt, but fresh garlic is good. Oregano, and some canned tomato sauce. You might want to be particular to get the sauce that's really rich and good, rather than something that's just on sale, because the taste counts. And I have my can opener, which is a lovely thing. And so now I'm going to get started. I always make my spaghetti in the old-fashioned iron skillet. So I'll step over here for a minute and tell you what I'm doing with the skillet prior to putting the meat in. Okay, now for the trusty old iron skillet. I love the iron skillets. I have a few of them. They're wonderful. I put a little olive oil, very little. It could be up to you, but a couple tablespoons should do it, just because that meat is so lean that it tends to stick without the fat. And the olive oil just adds to the Italian flavor to me. So I'm going to turn up the heat, and I turn it fairly high in the beginning because I want to brown the meat. I want to brown the meat fast. And so I put the olive oil on. That's going to get warm, and I'm going to come over here with the ground beef and put that in. Okay, I've had the skillet turned past medium and about halfway up to high, because I did want the skillet to get pretty hot pretty quick. And now I'm looking at it. It's been turned on for a few seconds and maybe a minute, and I think it's hot enough to put my ground beef in. Oh, there it's sizzling, so that's good. And it's nice ground beef. And I get it usually from a supermarket that I trust, where I feel like I'm getting good beef. I've had it before. I know it's very tasty. And tasty counts on every ingredient with spaghetti. It's just going to stick a little bit, so I'm going to keep moving it about so it won't stick too much. And I want it to start to brown. This is so easy. This is just spreading out my package of ground beef, which you can see is just about enough to fill the bottom of the skillet. If you want to make more spaghetti, you'll want more meat, or less meat. Actually, you can make very good spaghetti with just a small amount of ground beef. But it tastes good, so I put a little more, so we'll all get about the equivalent of a nice sized hamburger. And now that's beginning to brown. And of course, even though it is lean beef, you're still going to have a little grease come from it, and I don't want any grease in the spaghetti. So after it browns very well, I'm going to take the colander and I'm going to strain out the grease. I'm going to turn it up a little bit. I want to hear it a little more. So I turned it up. It's not sticking now at all because the meat grease is coming out, and it's browning, and it's smelling nice. Always be sure that it smells good. If you ever have ground beef that doesn't smell good, throw it out and start the whole process all over again. But this is fresh and nice. It smells good. It's browning really good. And there's quite a bit of grease coming off of it, even though it was the leanest ground beef that I could get in that market. And that is my market where I usually get my ground beef. It's always tasty. So what I'm going to do now, it's pretty well browned, and very quickly I'm going to get the strainer and strain out the grease. Okay, now we'll drain. You can see there's quite a lot of, not only the grease, but of course some of that olive oil, but some of the taste has already gotten into the meat. So I'll just pour the meat in here, grease and all. Makes a few more pans to wash. And that's good because it gives you the feeling you've really done something. Now I got that grease out of there, so the spaghetti will have the lean ground beef and it won't have the drippings. I get every bit of the drippings out because it's just plain healthier without that. So with all that dripped out, the ground beef goes back in the skillet. The skillet now is turned off for a moment. Okay, now this is pretty fascinating stuff here. I'm going to open the cans. Of course, in today's world, a lot of people have the electric can opener. For some reason, I didn't like mine. I like to just open the cans with the little hand can opener. It doesn't take long. It's nice. And that's two. Actually, watch on your spaghetti sauce. You can generally get it cheaper if you buy the small cans, believe it or not. You pay a little more, usually, for the larger cans. Take a look and you'll see. So that's why I'm using small, and I'm going to use 4 small cans for the amount of ground beef I have, and this dinner is for 3. And this is going to be just about right. Actually, it would serve for 4 also. But we always like extra. So I've got the tomato sauces. So here we go. I'm going to pour the tomato sauce over the meat. That's easy enough. I have 2 more. So that's getting a nice tomato sauce. And that's the beginning. And then I'll take one of my spoons. I keep a number of spoons and forks. I like to mess up quite a bit of silverware while I'm doing this. And I'll stir the tomato sauce around. And now I'm going to turn it back on, but this time I'm only going to turn it to medium right now because I'm working with it. And I'm going to get the salt and pepper and the garlic. I go pretty light on the salt, a little sprinkle. I would say that was maybe 1/8 of a teaspoon. And light on the pepper, just a little sprinkle, because you can add a little more of this later when you taste it, and tasting it from time to time is very important also. And now for the garlic. Sometimes I have organic garlic, just the idea that it's so good for you, but this I think was regular, not non-organic. And I'll cut the garlic. Got my little cup here that comes in handy as you're trimming the garlic. Now this is not such a fascinating part of it, but boy, this is important. The fresh garlic makes it good. It smells so good.